Hussein from Cross Network, Saka from Crypto Oasis, Valerie Hawley, the affiliate partner from True Global Ventures, and Gaurav from TDeFI.
Anyways, thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Nicole Purin. I'm an international finance lawyer, and I really thank this wonderful opportunity to be moderating a panel with some really top figures in the crypto VC space. So I first of all would like to just introduce yourself, just for the audience, just to give a little bit of background on your activities, starting with Hussein.
Oh, thank you so much. So my name is Hussein, and I'm a founder at Cross Network, and we at Cross are building the infrastructure for the metaverse, advertising infrastructure for the metaverse, similarly to what Google and Facebook have done for the Web 2.0. Cross is connecting metaverses with advertisers in an intuitive and automated process, enabling communities to earn from advertising and unlocking new heights for the play-to-earn economy. Previously, I was always been a serial entrepreneur and a former founder CEO at Rocket Internet, where I built several tech startups from white paper to IPO. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Valerie? Oh, just press.
Does it work?
Yes.
Okay, so I am Valérie Rollet. I have several hats. I am the director of the Center of Excellence. No, we can't
Yes, I
hear
think
me?
we need to maybe.
Hello?
Yeah, better now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, better
Yeah,
now.
is
Yes.
that better?
Yes.
Okay. So start again. So I am in charge of the Center of Excellence for Artificial Intelligence of Sorbonne University in Abu Dhabi, developing the entity to bridge the gap between academia and the business world. So that's one part of me. The second part, I am a general partner in a fund that is called True Global Venture. We have raised 100 million and we are investing into equity in blockchain company. We started in 2018 and we have deployed everything and we have been quite successful. But I think I tell a bit more later than.
Fantastic. So Gaurav, a little bit. I mean, clearly.
Hello everyone, Gaurav Dubey. I am presenting. I'm representing TDeFI here. So right across the pavilion is TDeFI Pavilion. We are a crypto incubator and an advisory company. We help startups to present themselves as a mature idea, as a mature fundraiser program, and then polish them up for better presentability to the open markets, to the outside world, so to say, because mostly the ideas are made in your head and on your individual computers. They're usually not ready to face the world. So we do that, connect them to investors, connect them to marketers, technology companies, supply them with whatever they need through our network, and then help them with launch. From there, it's an ongoing advisory from their journey to be an enterprise.
Great, thank you very much. And Saka, please, if you give us a little bit of background about you.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure of being here amongst friends, colleagues, and fellow like-minded people. Thank you for the audience. It's really exciting to see so many actively listening people in the audience. My name is Slekar Erikat. I am one of the co-founders of Crypto Oasis. As Crypto Oasis, we're building what we believe, and soon we'll have the facts for, is the fastest growing blockchain ecosystem in the world. With that, we support companies in setting up here in the UAE. We support the government in building this ecosystem. We support our investors in actually deploying capital into this ecosystem actively. We have funds for investments into early stage blockchain companies focused here in the UAE, focused specifically on tokens. So we don't usually take equity, we only take tokens in companies and support them along the way.
Fantastic. That's very, very interesting. So, I mean, I will be starting off with the premise that there is an expectation that funding in early stage crypto investment will increase exponentially in the years to come. And this is altogether a global trend. So a lot of the clearly themes in this discussion will center on this. But Saker, I've got a first question for you that we'll also clearly will ask our other esteemed colleagues to comment upon as well. So how do you see the blockchain, change of the future of investing, and what have been the top investments in the crypto space in 2021? In terms of both, late stage and early stage. It'd be interesting to hear your views on this.
Nicole, that's a great question. And it's a question that we get asked every day, actually. What is it that's happening out there? What is it that we should be investing in? What is it that we should watch out for? And here, before we go into blockchain, I think it's very important to remember this is a startup ecosystem, right? And when investing into startups, your risk is the highest it is at any cycle in a company, right? Then to add that to the numbers, 8 out of 10 startups usually fail, right? So people are surprised when, projects come up and then they wither and die, for the lack of a better word. But that is business as usual in the startup world, right? So I have the pleasure to advise a lot of startups in other roles where, for example, for the DIFC, I support their fintech startups in that space. And it isn't exclusive to the blockchain ecosystem that 8 out of 10 startups fail. Now, the good startups are the startups that we see have a great idea, and that great idea doesn't necessarily depend on blockchain and doesn't need to depend on blockchain, right? But when thinking about an idea for blockchain, obviously you should note that there should be a real business use case for blockchain. It shouldn't be a solution that's looking for a problem, right? So talking about the trends that we've seen throughout 2021 and some of 2022, I think the first one that has to be called out by itself is NFTs. NFTs have risen 6,400% year on year. 6,400% year on year from 2020 to 2021, right? Another thing that also the UAE is starting to develop as one of their ecosystems is gaming and esports. Gaming and esports are the type of investments that have also seen a lot of attraction from the wider space.
Thank you very much. What about you, Gaurav? I mean, what are your thoughts about future of investing, top investment in 2021? What has been your experience in this space?
So there's no doubt about what Saker said. I would agree to it 100%. This space, blockchain, is exactly not even a fraction different from other emerging markets, other emerging spaces. We saw the same trend in the VR, AR industry when it was, taking a high. We saw the same thing, I'm sure, with the .com bubble. We saw the same with real estate. It happens in every industry when it's an emerging market. The failure rate is almost the same. The trends are almost the same. A blast of unsophisticated capital is quite a trend in these markets, and which is all true in crypto, right? So, and these markets generally, obviously, the unsophisticated capital is tough to manage. That's why it's unsophisticated, and at times, at the peak of the bubble, it seems to be riding or directing the wave. It's people that have seen at least a few of these waves are mature enough in respective industries, not just one, essentially who have lost, right, are the one who are able to make a difference, who are able to pick and choose the value part of any emerging market. People like Saker and the esteemed participants of the panel, Cypher itself, and so many more people that I've met in AIBC. NFT, I think, is not at all different from what we saw in 2017-16 about on the infrastructure tokens. Is nothing different from what we saw in the emergence of DeFi, a tiny 6 months to 8 months wave, and almost what we saw in metaverses. So it's the same like microcycles and then megacycles as Ray Dalio mentioned in his own in his video of how the economics machinery works. We are about to see a similar blast in DAOs. We are all getting ready for it. And to address your question about the future.
Yes.
And in my own perspective, I don't know how many of you would agree. I'm expecting a new DeFi 2.0 blast coming very, very soon. So that's, in my perspective, the future. We are very open to it, and we are looking forward for it.
Great. So lots of opportunities, a lot of diversification here from what I can hear, which is really great to build the ecosystem. And Valerie, what about you? I mean, clearly there's also an AI angle there that is very prominent. So let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think I used to say that I think the blockchain technology is a very transformative technology because it has value in it. I mean, it has ethical or value, not as money value, but certain concepts, philosophical concepts that are built in it. And I think AI is a very dry technology. It's a set of tools to analyze large set of data. But other than that, we are not much further than that. I think effective AI is not there and not for another 10 years. So I think where blockchain has the potential for transform the society, I think we talk about banking the unbanked and making the emerging market leapfrog the digital economies that we have in the developed world. We talk about decentralization. That is a big topic where we have countries that are very centralized. It's also something that is very powerful for our societies and how we are going to design the societies of tomorrow. So I think what's happened in 16, 17 is that blockchain was a technology in search of use cases. And I think now it has found some of them. I think there are many more to be found still because of this transformative aspect of the technology. And I look forward to see certain of these use cases, but I think it has the potential to bring more transparency and to beat corruption in some countries. So it has a lot of impacts worldwide, and it will redesign the world in one way or another.
Thank you very much. And what about you, Hussein?
Yes, yeah. So I mostly agree with my three colleagues here, and from our perspective as founders and startups, we also look at blockchain as a technology that solves problem, not that we're gonna go and start a project because we wanna go inside blockchain. So when we looked at Cross, which is now an advertising infrastructure for the metaverse, but at heart, if you scan it probably under an X-ray, it's a cross-organizational collaboration platform to help and empower metaverses to execute business value chains. So in the beginning, we chose blockchain as part of our technology, not as whole the technology, because blockchain, by design, it's compliant. So it gave us the component of the full traceability and the trustless and the tamper-proof manner. And then when we dive deeper on a use case, we said, okay, we're gonna have the advertising as a use case, because basically advertising is one of the biggest industry on the planet. And we're gonna empower the metaverses, because it's ironically funny, right? When I talked with the leadership in Decentraland and Sandbox and others, so all of them agree that advertising is on top of our list as an as the revenue stream, but we have no clue how we're gonna do it, right? Okay, we call Snoop Dogg or we call any other agency, and we have a one-off agreement, right? But where's the automation and the intuitivity, right? So yeah.
Thank you very much. So I've got also a question applicable to all of you panelists. So what are the opportunities and challenges for a crypto startup? And what is the right fundraising model? I mean, this is really, really important. of an early stage crypto investment. So perhaps, Saka, you'd start with your views.
I'm rather biased in that answer, so I'll say it from the beginning. So when we decided not to invest in equity and to invest in token, there's a particular reason about that. Now, your risk rises when you're investing in token only, right? It is essentially something virtual. It is something that today doesn't have in many countries doesn't have a legal framework around it. It is something that is not necessarily the most secure way to invest. Having said that, from an investor's point of view, investing into the token of the company means that you're actually supporting their mission and being a blockchain decentralized solution that is available to the masses, right? Now, I am sure some of the panelists here will take a point of view towards equity. We believe that the easiest way for us to invest and participate in the upside of an organization, the easiest way to access a liquid market in the future is for us to invest into the token of the particular company that we are supporting.
Great, thank you. Mr. Gaurav?
I'll bridge both the parties as I'm bridging in terms of seats. I've been an angel investor and hence equity investor for almost 12 years now. I don't think there's a big philosophical or a practical gap here. Equity companies are structured to add value to the equity of the company. Token companies are structured by the very nature of the technology it's built upon to add value to the tokens. Now, if you end up having, let's say, 100% equity of Ethereum, what do you get? Nothing. Like, there is no value added on equity side, right? In fact, the day they create value on their equity is the day they have a big crackdown from all the regulators of the world. This is the structure of the technology, it's the structure of the infrastructure. This is what we saw in all these big class action suits in US around the so-called tier 1 public chains. So blockchain as a philosophy and then later as a technology creates this avenue of replacing equities, replacing securities to utilities. I know the definitions are being changed. I know this is a changing world. It's about adoption. We did adopt internet. We have to adopt this new means of money. We have to adopt the internet of value, right? A lot of people are not willing to change their perspective. Up to them. It's not that equities are lost. It's not that we lose equities entirely in the next 100 years. 2015, I remember the age and era that someone mentioned. Blockchain was trying to find its utilities, its use cases. I come from that age, in the same stages here in Burj Al Arab and spaces. The evangelists used to talk about bottles of blockchain, water of blockchain, suits of blockchain. We all know that never happened. Coming to practical side, supply chains were supposed to be the killer app of blockchain. Never happened. It is indeed a big.
It did happen.
It is a big use case.
No, it's the largest use case. Come on, Gaurav. I mean, I know we have certain differences, but don't go to supply chain.
Differences are good. They
okay, which is the largest market cap in crypto companies?
Forget about crypto.
What is
supply chain doesn't talk about crypto anymore.
So
supply chain is things like Hyperledger, right?
Yeah.
When we talk today, Maersk, the joint venture that they did with IBM, right? This is today, if we look at number of transactions, one of the largest numbers of transactions, container tracking, container traceability, bill of ladings, customs clearance, all of those. I'm with you. I was out there. These evangelists you talk about, I was one of them, right? Saying it will be everywhere. But supply chain is the only one where I say, it actually worked.
Cool. So we have finally landed to a space in valuation, in terms of valuations, where finance is the killer app of blockchain so far. And so did happen with DeFi, which is a financial use case. I was still talking about DeFi 2.0, and we are all people of our perspectives. I come from a heavy finance and banking investing background, and I find so far crypto, finance as the killer app. To finally conclude all of this, I think we're in the middle of a changing world. the way we have never lost paper registers over internet and online databases, I'm sure we'll never lose equities. Never say never, but we'll not lose equities at all. So we're all in good places. We're all in our regime of skills, and we're all doing good. But then you just can't force in equity in a use case that is designed by its intrinsic nature to be a token utility. That's about it.
Understood. Very enlightening. Thank you. Valerie, Hussein, we don't have a lot of time left, but if you could kindly...
No, very quickly. I mean, in our fund, we started to invest in 2018. We didn't talk about crypto fund at the time. We were interested in the technology, so we are equity investment fund. Saying that, more and more of our deal have a portion of token on it. So we structure our deal in a way that we also have access to the token. But at the end of the day, the value created by the token is often reflected in the equity, in the value created in equity. It goes hand in hand. I mean, the equity value has probably a longer term and longer horizon than the token, but if a company works well, the token will increase in value, and so will the equity of the company. So it's a bit of a, I think it's a question of term of investment and liquidity more than one or the other. Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Hussein, a few more thoughts at your end?
I have 1 minute to go. So I believe the most important thing is wisdom, which is doing the right thing at the right time. And there's no one size fits all. Blockchain have gave us the power of decentralization and ownership to the community, right? A free democratic system owned by its users. So if the value will be added being a DAO and fully decentralized, then equity doesn't make sense and everybody's owning token. If the value for this solution that's gonna make this place a better place is less decentralization and equity is an option, then let's go for equity and tokens. So by this I end. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add one thing as well. There are companies that are using blockchain technology and not issuing a token. So how do you reap the value of that company if there is no token available? So I think that's also why we chose to invest in equity, because not all the company are issuing token. It doesn't make sense, and we don't want companies to issue token for the sake of it.
Very good point.
I mean, look, I think that there is just so much diversification. There's different approaches. I think from a factual perspective, we know that startups with loftier valuations are expected to go into IPO stage in the next 12 to 24 months. I think this is going to bring much more insight, much more structure, but certainly the sector is becoming stronger and stronger every day, as illustrated by our esteemed panelists. And yeah, so I think lots of great opportunities for hopefully 2022 and the future. So thank you so much. I think we're wrapped up. And really, it's been a very interesting panel. Thank you. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Big round of applause.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.